Hello, guys. Welcome back. No, I'm not trying to be dramatic. It's just end of the day, going on to 1 o'clock in the morning. We took a break from God of the Day, and I come back on after having all the feels today. Long story, but it involved Odin and Loki and some puzzle packs and some wolves in the field and a fox, too. And I thought a long time about, people are so touchy anymore. Should I do what I was going to do for God of the Day? Because people aren't saying anything anymore either, so I have to go by my own instinct. And I come back on, and there's two songs for Hanukkah, and they were great. One was set on Star Wars, and one was set on Bohemian Rhapsody. So they were awesome. I'm like, it's going to be Hanukkah. Who do I know that's Jewish? Who do I know that's Jewish? The Virgin Mary is Jewish. Yes, quick reminder, even though Roman Catholics would like to pretend otherwise. And I can say this because I grew up Roman Catholic. Mary was Jewish. Jesus was Jewish. Their God was Jewish. Mazel tov. So, Goddess of the Day is not really a goddess, but she is the mother of God. We're going to do Mary. Now, the simplest way to explain this to you is that you don't have to interpret the Bible literally. But let's go back to biblical times and look at the position Mary was in. She was a woman in a culture where women didn't really have high status. On top of this, they are an occupied people. And Rome is not known for having a sense of humor about much of anything. You obey or you die. Those are your two choices. And an angel of God comes to her and says to her that she is going to be the mother of Emmanuel. And her heart had to have stopped because she had to be thinking what any other poor woman would be thinking. Am I going insane? Jehovah wants to be the father? And everything else, because remember who the daddy is. This is the God that when they open the Holy of Holies once a year, they have to tie a rope to the priest in case God strikes him dead. He's so touchy you can't even spell out his name, entirely because that makes him angry and kills people. So this is the daddy who over thousands of years has become all love, but back then he was known for being rather touchy about just about everything. So this cranky desert deity, who to your people is the one and only deity, even though other religions are thriving around you, tells you you're going to be the mother of his son. He's going to overshadow you, and you will become pregnant. An unwed mother in a culture where unwed women who get pregnant are stoned to death. Absolutely no question, standard operating procedure. She agrees. We don't know if it's because of love of God, if the angel comforted her, if she loved humanity. We don't know. Take your guess. Joseph finds out, and according to Catholic tradition, he's actually older. And he decides he's going to have her put away, which means he's going to quietly renounce their marriage. He's not going to stone her to death. He has every right to, but he decides to be merciful. Angel appears to him, says, you must marry Mary. You have to do this. We have to have things set up right. All the power to the single moms out there, but this is a very picky deity. He wants an earthly father here. And so, they become wed. They go on a journey because not only was the emperor cruel, he wasn't that bright and he wants to take a census. So every male, because females weren't worth anything, I'm sorry ladies, but this is ancient times, has to go back to his birthplace and sign this register. Why you couldn't send messengers or they couldn't just have scrolls signed and have people sign where they were from, I don't know, but it might have just been a weird flex. So they have to go the whole way back to Bethlehem. And keep in mind, everyone must think she's absolutely insane because she's carrying God's baby. Of course she is. Of course she is. Nobody knows really what Joseph thought. If he really thought that God was the father, or he thought they were having a shared hallucination, or what she thought at the time. We just know they had to go on this journey. And they come to Bethlehem, and all the inns are full because everybody has to go to Bethlehem that had been, originated from there. So the place is full to overflowing. But a innkeeper takes mercy on them and says, "You can have the stable." Which, by the way, is an upgrade because it would have been much cleaner and much quieter and much nicer place to have a baby than anywhere else. It would have just been an upgrade. It was as close to a luxury suite as the son of a god was going to get. And so, the appointed hour comes and she gives birth to her baby, and then over the thousands of years, we've had a lot of adding on. A lot of adding on. We've kind of shifted the date. No, Jesus is a Capricorn. And a lot of people who didn't show up exactly the night of the birth did. And the thing is, depending on the flavor of Christianity you're looking at, Mary is almost shoved out of the manger scene because it's very close to goddess worship for them. Especially, they'll say those Catholics, they worship Mary as a goddess. Da, da, da. Well, we have Sophia for that, but thanks for trying. And that's the thing. She is, in a sense, the divine feminine, before Roman Catholics get upset with me. Follow this through. She's the mother of God. She's literally the mother of God. Now, they confuse things a little bit because pagans would have said, well, that makes Jesus a demigod because his father was a god. He had a, human consort and demigod. This is the one God that forbids such things as intimate relationships like that with people that we know of, though that is up to debate. So, in a way known only to God, God was born through Mary. But that still makes her the mother of God and the mother of humanity, the mother of the world, because by agreeing to give birth, she didn't have to. This wasn't forced on her. She had a choice here. She saved the world in the Roman Catholic faith. And why would she be good for pagans to work with? Well, when I was Catholic, I was a Knight of the Immaculata, which means you always make sure that you are in service to Mary. Not in a militaristic way, even though it must sound that way with knight in there, or in an intolerant way, but in a way of upholding justice, of taking care of the poor and the helpless and the weak, and defending people in Mary's position. Now, I'm not going to get super political, but I think you know what I mean. And also, despite the tendency of Mary apparitions to frighten the living daylights out of people and tell them that God is angry, which is not surprising because he was very angry in the Old Testament, she's a very loving mother towards people that work with her, and she usually has a special fondness for the poor and the sick and the homeless and the lame. All the people that, get cast off. Yes, she has many rich churches and many rich people serve her, but she has a special love and fondness for the same people that Jesus would have worked with. Because remember, Jesus, worked with the poor and the lame and the homeless and the outcast and the pagans and everyone else. And I was very surprised to find, though I shouldn't have been, I suppose, that, when you cross over to paganism, despite what some people would say, Mary just doesn't drop you somewhere and go, "Be gone, spawn of Satan," or anything like that. At least not the Mary I work with. I'm kidding. Whoop, back here. She cares about all people, not just Roman Catholics. She cares about all people. She is, if you believe in such things, literally the mother of the world. How more mother goddess can we get without claiming that she is a goddess reborn? Here's an interesting fact that they don't teach you until college in Roman Catholicism. We used to have a goddess, but we cut her out. Did you hear that? So some people will tell you, especially if you're taking Hebrew scriptures and having to learn to be an adult Catholic, that both Sophia and the Virgin Mary kind of are part of, sort of, in this mystical way that Catholics kind of sort of get, but we don't really, the goddess in our religion. I know people just plotzed. And, it's okay to have that. She's not scary. Um, One of the hardest things about growing up Catholic is that you would have this beautiful mom, the Queen of Angels. That's one of my favorite titles for her, the Queen of Angels and the Queen of Heaven. So, she's not up in heaven dusting knickknacks and staying out of the way and crying herself to sleep or something like it. This is the Queen, baby, and who is the king and who is the prince? She's up there with everybody else in power and glory, Yeah! And everybody has a blowout celebration for her son every year, which I'm sure she enjoys. And if you go to a Roman Catholic college, everybody clothes her son every year. It's a tradition. If you don't understand what I'm saying, Roman Catholic colleges put out a creche. And every year in our school, they would put out baby Jesus. And it was cold because this is Pennsylvania. So every year we would dress him. It didn't matter how many times they took the clothes off of him. That poor little baby was outside. And if Catholics know one thing, it's how to take care of babies, because we have a lot of them, okay? Look, he's howling with laughter. So everybody would always dress him. And at one point, they put chicken wire and everything else around him. So, of course, being Catholics, somebody cut the chicken wire, and there was a tape player literally playing The Great Escape. And he was dressed again. And they did more, and then finally baby Jesus was moved to a safe location, and he left a note saying he would be back after Christmas since they would leave a baby out in the cold. How could he? We take this very seriously. We know that's not literally Jesus, but you're putting a baby out in the cold, you monsters. We identify with everything Jesus. It explains why we have 500 crosses, 800 statues, and 9 million things of the Virgin Mary. Now, the thing is, it really doesn't matter if you believe she was a virgin. It really doesn't matter if you believe, even though it's scientifically possible. And it really doesn't matter if you believe she stayed a virgin. My actual favorite religious film of all time is Dogma. The text actually says she was a virgin up until the birth, meaning she was pure until the birth. After that, celebrate. Be happy you're married. Go have other children. We have vague references in the Bible to the brothers of Jesus. Remember, sisters wouldn't always be counted, so he could have had sisters too. It could be a huge family. You could have the blood of Christ in you literally, for all you know, and some people believe that. So, overall, Mary is great for pagans to work with. There are a lot of hoodoo and voodoo people that work with her after all, and, it's not you start to work with Mary, you therefore have to become a stark raving mad Roman Catholic. It doesn't work. If anything, Mary is the first one that will drag you out of the church because the church is currently on fire and it is nothing, you have to remember to separate Jesus and Mary and Joseph and God from the religion. They are over here being the good guys, the church not so much. So yeah, she's totally good to work with if you want that mother goddess in a kind of warm, loving way. She's the one for you, except if you put her children in danger, and then she makes Callie look even-tempered. So she is a loving mom until you hurt her children, and then she goes make a death goddess on you, even though that doesn't sound like Mary. She can become frightening and angry if she thinks you're putting children or women or just about anyone else in danger. So she's very good to go to if you're a member of a community that's outside, like the gay community or anything. She's very good to be appealed to, especially, like places like Mexico and that. They totally get this. Like, everybody that's an outcast will go to Mary and will go to Jesus because that's literally what they're there for. The church doesn't approve, but, fluff the church. So I heard, woo, back here. So if you guys like what you see, like, comment, subscribe. I kind of felt the dead silence and crickets when I suggested doing Shut up, Loki. Well, I suggested having the Virgin Mary on, but in a way, she is a goddess. She is at least that divine phenomenon in a way that's acceptable in Catholicism. And if you want to see her as a hidden face of the goddess, along with Sophia and some other vague references, you go ahead, you do that. There were certainly plenty of goddess statues moved into the temple and then out because somebody was cranky and couldn't share well. So it just felt right. Christmas is coming up, Hanukkah is coming up. We have 365 days a year to do whatever goddess we like, but other than this and some Catholic holidays that probably aren't going to ring a bell for anyone else, she does not get much. So, if you like what you see, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you later. Bye bye.